From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News Weekend Edition.
Good evening and welcome to our Saturday edition of the Fbx Evening News. I'm Katie Looper. Our top story tonight. On May 28th, just after 7 p.m., Alaska State Troopers received a report of a missing 15-year-old girl in the area of Murphy Dome and Spinach Creek. Troopers started a search of the area but didn't find her. Yesterday morning, troopers, military, VPSOs, search and rescue groups, and helicopters were called in to assist. About 8:30 Friday night, searchers found the body of the girl. Troopers did not release the name of the person found or the area where the search was conducted yesterday. However, the missing girl's father identified her as Liera Bishop and said the search was in the Murphy Dome area. Troopers this afternoon confirmed it was the same incident that they had released information on earlier. Next of kin were notified and foul play is not suspected. State troopers have issued a release on a death that reportedly occurred 6 days ago. On May 24th, troopers and National Park Service employees responded to mountainous terrain off of Mile 21 Nebezna Road in the Slana area. A 28-year-old North Pole man had been found unconscious by family and friends he had been camping with. The man identified as 28-year-old Dustin Waster and was pronounced dead at the scene. The body was taken to the State Medical Examiner's office for autopsy. The investigation is continuing. And the Alaska House passed a state spending plan at 12:35 this Saturday morning after an agreement was reached between the majority and minority in an effort to end a long-running dispute over the budget. Any final deal is contingent upon Senate support. Failure to reach a budget agreement helped to send the legislature into overtime last month. The state faces multi-billion-dollar deficits amid low oil prices and needs to use savings to help get by. The breakthrough comes days before notices are scheduled to go out, warning of possible layoffs if a budget isn't passed by July 1st. The Senate met briefly Saturday morning, referring the budget bill to its Finance Committee, which planned to review it today. The House and Senate are scheduled to have floor sessions tomorrow afternoon.
In the interests of Alaskans coming together in difficult times and recognizing the hard work that's been done within this body, I'll be a yes vote for this budget.
I mean, there's been cuts that have been offered that I don't think that we can afford right now. There are elements of the budget that I wish that could have been better restored. This was a huge effort. I want to thank everyone's participation on this, and unfortunately, I'll be voting no on this one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Golden Valley Electric Association has fired up the boiler at the Healy 2 power plant for the first time since 1999. The plant was fired on oil, beginning a test phase that will continue for the next 2 months. It's expected to begin producing a small amount of power in mid-June. Full operation with coal is planned for late July, and GVEA purchased the plant from Alaska Industrial Development and Export Authority in 2013. Crews have spent the past year retrofitting and refurbishing the plant, updating systems, and replacing obsolete controls. Healy 2 will double the amount of coal-fired generation in GVEA's portfolio. Fluctuating oil prices and unpredictable natural gas-fired power from Anchorage have led to price spikes. Coal prices are much more predictable, which should help the co-op stabilize rates.
We're a big excitement for, kind of reducing our consumption somewhat of not only of oil but also natural gas that we get from the cooking. That is our Healy power plant. A lot of work going on out there. There's a lot of excitement here about that, and we believe it'll be operating on coal in about 30 days.
This year's Midnight Sun Festival is being put on without its main sponsor. Officials with the Downtown Association, which runs the annual street fair, said BP Exploration pulled its $20,000 sponsorship due to declining oil revenues. BP had sponsored the festival for 8 years. Officials with the Downtown Fairbanks say the event is still scheduled for June 21st with over 30 music acts and lots of food vendors. The event is the chief fundraiser for the Downtown Association, and they are looking for a new title sponsor. And when we come back, today was the annual car show and over 50 antique vehicles were on display. Also, we'll have a look at the unique form of currency that's making its way to the interior. We'll have those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. As Alaskans, we know the cold weather is hard on our cars, but despite harsh living conditions, Fairbanks is home to one of the largest antique car collections in the country. After a long winter, club members look forward to pulling out their classic cars from the garage and putting them on display at the Carlson Center today. The Vernon Nash Antique Auto Club of Fairbanks has over 200 members, making it one of the largest clubs in the Antique Auto Club of America. Anyone is welcome to check out the display of over 50 automobiles. The cars range in age anywhere from 1923 to 1990, but cars from 1970 to 1990 are considered millennial classics rather than antiques. Also, this year was the event's first time hosting an antique swap meet with 12 vendors selling old car parts, records, cameras, knickknacks, and more. Last year's specialty cars were Studebakers, and this year they have 5 Mercurys on display.
Well, you know, the winters are long and the guys like to spend the time in the garage. Some of the gals, actually I own about 5 of my own, but my husband takes care of those for me. But yeah, it's a good opportunity for people to keep themselves busy all winter and then show their wares all summer. It gives us an opportunity to drag out all of the cars that all of us in Vernon Nash have in the garage and let folks see them, because you can only drive one at a time. So this is an opportunity. We've got folks here that have got as many as 5 cars entered.
And if you missed the car show today, don't worry, it'll be on again tomorrow from 11 to 5 at the Carlson Center. And geocaching is a real-world outdoor treasure hunting game in which seekers use GPS coordinates to find their geocache container. It's possible to stumble upon one in nature, but today, the Alaska Public Land Information Center gave participants specific GPS coordinates to find their simple treasures on their own. When hunters find different size caches, there's usually a log book to sign your name in and little knickknacks to exchange. The ones placed near Fairbanks contain different activities for people to learn about the area. People can spend all summer looking for these 8 caches, and when they've completed the task, they can return the book to the visitor center for a prize. The closest geocache is located at Creamersfield, while the furthest is at Quartz Lake, an hour and a half away from Fairbanks. Today they provided GPSs with preset coordinates, but anyone can grab the list and use their smartphone to find the hidden objects at any time.
So we have 8 caches on the public land units. Typically, if someone were to visit one once a weekend, it would take them 8 weeks, but you know, summer is about 12 weeks long. So we figure if someone went out once every other weekend, they would find the cache, and at the end of the summer, they would find all 8 caches.
So we just kind of picked up a GPS and they told us to look for these words in bottles. So we just kind of looked for geocaches, and when we got close it would say you have arrived at your destination.
Well, we felt amazed for one that we had found something out here and learned how to use a GPS for geocaching.
My favorite part is trying to look for it and then at the end realizing that you found it, and it's like a great accomplishment. But
my favorite is the adventure, so going to it.
Bitcoin is one of the world's most popular virtual currencies. It can be used as an investment tool to make purchases or transfer money. There are more than 14 million of them in circulation around the globe, and the online cash has made its way to interior Alaska. Mike Fussell reports.
Jacob Sears is an engineering student at UAF, who as a member of the college cryptocurrency network is spearheading Bitcoin advocacy in the area. Sears says Alaska lags behind most other states in Bitcoin adoption, but there are signs of growing interest from individuals throughout the interior. But he says for a robust Bitcoin economy to gain ground, businesses will need to start accepting the relatively new form of money as well.
Of course, one of the first things you have to get to have adoption is going to be having, shops to accept it. If you don't have a reason to use it, there's no reason to have it, period.
And some local businesses are doing just that. Arctic Spray Foam is an insulation and coating company based in Fairbanks. It's been accepting Bitcoin for almost a year now. Co-owner Jesse Bowen says the virtual currency offers many benefits such as mobility, a detailed system for documenting contracts, and the ability to make a purchase without the use of banks. The company has yet to process a Bitcoin transaction, but Bowen says he does make an effort to educate those in the Golden Heart City who may be uncomfortable with the idea of a virtual currency.
They don't understand where the value is derived from. And I would say the same thing goes for gold. Yes, a gold bar looks nice when you pound it out into a ring and put it on your finger, but the only real reason we prescribe any value to it is because of speculation and the agreement that I believe that this shiny rock is valuable.
Bowen ultimately would like to close the loop of outside sales and company purchasing with the currency.
Instead of us going to cash our Bitcoins back into US dollars, we can go to our distributor that we buy materials and supplies from and purchase materials and supplies with those said Bitcoins. And so ideally in the future we'll have a closed loop system where that exchange process isn't required and we can actually do the complete transaction with Bitcoins themselves.
Those involved with Bitcoin in the area say its presence may be small, but the early chatter that is going on now is just one of the first steps of things to come. Reporting, I'm Mike Fussell.
And Mike Fussell is coming up next with a local look at your sports, including the state track and field championships going on in Anchorage. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, sports fans. Mike Fussell here with your latest weekend action. Today we'll start out of town at a number of state high school tournaments. The interior is being well represented in Anchorage today at the ASAA State Track and Field Championships. After day one of competition, Lathrop has the third place spot overall and in the 4A division with 14 points. And in the 1 through 3A tournament, the Hutch girls are in third as well, and they're only 8 points away from the first place Anchorage Christian squad. A number of notable individual performances against record-breaking competition are also playing out at Diamond High School. Lathrop's Devin Millington took the gold in the 110-meter hurdles. West Valley's Charles Suddeth won his second straight 100-meter 4A state championship with an unofficial time of 10.91 seconds. That's just 1 millisecond away from tying the state record. And Eielson jumper Antonio Griffith also took top honors at states in the 1 through 3A long jump and triple jump. He says the keys to his success were trusting his coaching staff and focusing when it came time to jump.
Whew. Oh, I know I was super nervous, and I know no practice can simulate how that felt to be down 3 inches knowing this is your last jump no matter what. I really didn't know how I was going to approach this, and they were telling me ways I could do this and how I'm going to get through this. And my coach Brennan, Mr. Brennan, he told me to just close your eyes, go off the board, and imagine a good jump, and that's exactly what I did, and the results were rewarding.
And the West Valley girls soccer team has almost climbed their way to the top of the 4A state tournament bracket. The West girls are now in the championship finals. A 2-0 win over Kenai in the semifinals secured the spot for the Lady Wolfpack on Friday. They went on to play South Anchorage tonight at Bartlett High School for the big school division title. This is the first time an interior team has made it to the state soccer finals since the 1 through 4A divisional classes were created. And the West Valley boys are no longer in the tournament, though. They were knocked out by Colony in consolation play on Friday afternoon. We'll have full results from state soccer in Anchorage coming up in our nightcap tonight at 11. And it was a great day for baseball today. Local high school teams are now wrapping up their seasons, and our cameras were there to take a closer look.
The MAC baseball title was on the line earlier today at Groudon Memorial Park. Lathrop and West Valley faced off in the first ever baseball conference tournament finals. First inning started off as a defensive battle, but the Malamutes would get hot in the second. Lathrop's Ryan Perdue stepped up to the plate with the bases loaded and drew a full count. Then on the final make-it-or-break-it pitch, he sliced a hit through defenders for a triple. That would bring in 3 runs and put the Mutes up 4-0.
I was just trying to put a good swing on it and move the runners over. I wasn't trying to do anything special. The coaches just told me to relax and just trust the preparation, like I said again. And once again, it worked. Coaching staff prevails. Well, we just stayed together as a team. We trust our coaching staff. We trust the preparation we put in before the game. Trusting each other is a big part of our approach, and that's what we did, and it worked. We just executed.
They would add 3 more in the inning to make it a 7-0 ball game in the bottom of the second. Neither team would score until the top of the 6th, where West Valley rallied 3 runs to get within striking distance of the title. But Lathrop held on to the lead to become Mid-Alaskan Conference champions and took the win 7-3.
It feels great. I'm a senior this year, and all 4 years we've won it and gone to state, and that's the most amazing feeling I think I could ever have. I think having a good opponent like West Valley, we can play our best game and see what we're capable of. I think we still have a lot of room to improve, and I think we're going to peak down in state.
Both Lathrop and West Valley will be heading to the ASAA state tournament.
And fans and racers packed the Mitchell Raceway for the opening night of automotive action for the season yesterday evening. After several tune-up laps, the first class of racers hit the track for Heat 1 of the night. Most races were 10 laps long. This one got caution near the 7th. But after the pause, cars came out hot off the restart, passing each other to vie for the lead and ultimately the Heat victory. Many other types of cars kicked up dirt, even classes that typically drive on the paved North Pole Speedway. Some races became a battle of attrition as drivers struggled to stay on the track. Other groups included legends, modified, sportmen, and winged sprint cars. For full results, check back on Monday for the weekend recap with Joe Cook. And that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Katie Looper is up next with your full weather forecast. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next weekend.
Welcome back to our Saturday edition. So, Mike, I learned all about geocaching today, right? So I was wondering, have you ever been?
Yeah, actually I have. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and as you saw there in the video, I didn't really have too much luck finding anything.
Aww,
but it was still fun.
Well, it's worth giving it a shot here in Fairbanks. At least you'll be able to get outside, learn the area, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's a great way to be outside, and maybe will the geocachers be experiencing some good weather in the week to come?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a great summer for more geocaching. They're allowing you to get all the 8 caches and then turn it in for a grand prize. But this week is going to be excellent.
Great.
Nice 70s. All right, well, let's take a look at the weather for today, though. There's a normal high of 67, a low of 45. Our record high got up to 84 in 2013 and a record low of 28 in 1931. Our sun rose at 3:40 this morning and sets at 12:02. Our daylight equals 20 hours and 21 minutes altogether, giving us a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Now around the state today, it's pretty much sunny skies all across Alaska. Juneau's at 75, 68 in Anchorage, a little cloudier in Cold Bay at 47, partly sunny skies in Nome at 62. Up there in Barrow, cloudy skies for them, and then in Fairbanks, 74 degrees for us. All right, for the lower 48 today, Seattle sunny at 73. Things are really starting to heat up in Las Vegas and Phoenix, all the way up to 105. Over there, as we move over to the east, Minneapolis is at 64 with partly sunny skies, same with Dallas at 76. However, lightning and thunderstorms for New Orleans and Miami in the mid to upper 80s, and 83 in New York with lightning storms as well. Now for next week, we can see there's going to be very dry weather on our west coast, spotty storms as we move a little more east, a very warm temperature in the Arizona area. And moving over to the east again, thunderstorms are pretty much dominating the region with steamy weather on the east coast and a little bit more thunderstorms in the Florida area. And lastly, up there in the New York northern area, much cooler temperatures for them. Now around the state today in Alaska, partly sunny in Barrow and Fort Yukon, mostly cloudy in Nome, 31 in Barrow, 54 in Fort Yukon, and 65 in Nome. Now for the interior, sunny skies all across the region, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, nice weather there. Moving down to the east, sunny for Ketchikan, partly cloudy in Juneau, and nice temperatures in the 60s for them as well. Moving over to the west, rain for Cold Bay and Bethel, partly sunny in Kodiak, 50 in Cold Bay, 60 in Kodiak, and 67 in Bethel. Lastly, for our south central region, lots of sun across the region, 68 in Anchorage, and nice temperatures in the 60s for Valdez and Homer as well. And for tonight's forecast, 47 degrees, clear skies. Tomorrow, 69 degrees, sunny skies as well. And lastly, for our extended outlook, we can see just 60s pretty much all across the board, moving up to 70 degrees by Friday, and 40 to 45 for our nightly temperatures. So it's going to be great weather for geocaching.
Exactly. You know, we've got a great week here. It still seems that the rain is falling in the lower 48 quite a bit, but you know, we can enjoy it up here.
We got pretty lucky up here. Last summer it was kind of swapped. It was just super rainy last summer, so.
Right. Maybe we'll see a little more, just help with the fire danger there.
Yeah. It did get a little spotty over the past week, which is nice. Yeah. All right, well, that'll wrap up the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. And as always, we're glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.